Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Physiology Learning. Today our topic of discussion is on nociceptors and pain pathway. So in the previous session we were discussing about the sensory system and the sensory receptors. Now our discussion will continue with nociceptors and pain. So coming to the learning objectives of this session, we will be discussing about the definition of pain, nociceptors, pain and its types, then coming to modulation of pain, referred pain, clinical aspects of pain. These will be dealt separately in the separate video lectures. Whereas the definition of pain, nociceptors, pain and its types and pain pathway will be discussed in this video. So what is pain? Pain, it is beautifully described by the International Association for the Study of Pain. They have described pain as unpleasant sensory and emotional experience associated with actual or potential tissue damage or described in terms of such damage. So basically pain is any unpleasant sensory stimulus. Not only sensory stimulus, sometimes we feel the emotional pain also. So that is also pain, and there should be a tissue damage, or it can be explained like he is having such deep kind of pain feeling also. So it should be described in terms of such damage also. So both the components, both the sensory as well as the emotional component is considered as pain. Now coming to the nociceptors. Already we have discussed nociceptors are nothing but our pain receptors. The nociceptors are nothing but free nerve endings and they are widespread in superficial layers. That's why we feel pain throughout the body, and not only in the superficial layers, they are also present in internal tissue like viscera and the covering the visceral structures, because sometimes we feel the pain of the visceral parts also, that is the internal organs. Then the pain is non-adapting in nature. This is one of the very important feature of pain, because we don't want the pain to be adapting. Why? The reason is, if first thing is the pain should be non-adapting, because it should constantly give an awareness to the subject so that pain is there, and so that he can take care of the particular region and he avoids re-injuring that same region. So that is important, and it also helps us to withdraw from a stimulus. So for these features it should be non-adapting in nature, and pain is usually with response to any mechanical damage, thermal damage or chemical stimulus like bradykinin, serotonin or any other proteolytic enzymes. So these are the stimulus for pain. Now coming to the types of pain. All of us know that whenever you touch any hot object, immediately we withdraw. Suddenly we feel a pain. That is called as fast pain. That immediate withdrawal is needed, so that fast pain is created in the body. And after that, if there is some tissue damage there, constantly we will be feeling the pain until the tissue damage is completely cleared off. That is an example of slow pain. So pain is basically divided into fast pain and slow pain. What are the other names for fast pain? Fast pain is also called as physiological pain, and it is acute in nature, and it is also called first pain, and it is also called good pain. Whereas coming to the slow pain, it is called as pathological pain or bad pain, and it is slow pain because it is slowly transmitted to the brain, and it is also called as chronic pain because it is going to be there for a prolonged period of time, and it is carried by specific nerve fibers. The fast pain is specifically carried by A delta fibers, and coming to the specificity of this A delta fibers, they are myelinated, and all of us know myelinated nerves can carry the stimulus faster to the brain. That's why fast pain is carried through A delta fibers. These are myelinated nerves. And whereas coming to the slow pain, they are carried by C fibers, which are non-myelinated. And the neurotransmitter is also very specific, because it has been asked in MCQs, what is the neurotransmitter for fast pain? It is nothing but the glutamate. Previously for slow pain also glutamate was given in the answers, but right now it has been updated and substance P is indicated for the slow pain. So most important substance for slow pain is substance P more than glutamate. Of course glutamate is also involved, but substance P is much more than that. And what is the characteristic of a fast pain? It is sharp in nature, like immediately you touch it, you immediately withdraw. That is, it is also called a sharp pain. Whereas slow pain, it is dull and diffuse. Diffuse means it is spread over a large area. Now coming to the pain pathway or pain carrying tracts. We know that nociceptors are the one which are sensing them. They have to be sent to the brain through some tracts. These tracts are ascending tracts, and there are 5 major tracts. Out of this, the most prominent one is spinothalamic tract. From the spinal cord, it is going towards the thalamus and finally to the somatosensory cortex. So that's why it's called spinothalamic tract. We will discuss this particular tract in detail because it is the most predominant tract. Now it also goes to spinoreticular tract. What is reticular system? It is also called reticular activating system. It is a system which keeps the brain active. So suppose if a person is awake, it is because of the reticular activating system. See, the pain is going to this region. Ultimately, most of us would have experienced this in day-to-day life. Whenever we have an injury, whenever we go to sleep, night we don't get sleep and the pain is felt very severely because it is activating the reticular activating system and it is keeping us awake also. So that's why this awareness and arousal is via through this spinoreticular tract. Then there is another tract, spinomesencephalic tract. It is responsible for the emotional component of pain, and sometimes pain is associated with some emotions. That is why this tract is involved in those emotions, and it is going to a particular place called as limbic system. We will have a separate video lecture on limbic system, but what is limbic system? It is the area where the behavioral and emotional aspects of the person is perceived. And coming to another tract, which is spinohypothalamic tract. What is this spinohypothalamic tract? It is going to the hypothalamus. All of us know hypothalamus is the head ganglion of autonomic nervous system, and this is the predominant reason whenever we have a pain, not only the pain sensation is felt, we also feel sweating and cardiovascular increase in activity, respiratory rate is changing. So all these are felt with the help of spinohypothalamic tract. Basically it is going to the hypothalamus and causing the cardiovascular and neuroendocrine responses. There is one minor tract which is spino-cervico-thalamic tract. That is the upper limb portion of the receptors goes through the cervical region and then to the thalamus. It is not a predominant tract, but all these 5 tracts are the major tracts of pain pathway. Now we will discuss about the most important tract, that is spinothalamic tract. This spinothalamic tract is basically divided into 2 parts. One is the neo-spinothalamic tract. Neo, the term indicates it's new, and this is the tract which is responsible for carrying the fast pain. So neo-spinothalamic tract is responsible for carrying the fast pain. And there is another tract which is called as paleo-spinothalamic tract. This paleo-spinothalamic is nothing but a old spinothalamic tract, and this is the one which is responsible for carrying the slow pain. What is the receptors involved in fast pain? Yes, it is A delta fibers because it should be myelinated and they should carry the pain faster. What is the fibers responsible for slow pain? It is C fibers. Now coming to the neurotransmitter, let's revise it one more time. It is glutamate here, whereas the C fiber, it is substance P. Very good, substance P. And this fiber, when the nociceptors are felt, it goes to the spinal cord. In the spinal cord region, it goes to the specific lamina. The spinal cord is generally divided into various lamina, whereas this fast fibers will go specifically to the lamina 1. Lamina 1, first part of the lamina. It is also called as lamina marginalis. Whereas the paleo-spinothalamic tract, the fibers go to a spinal cord to lamina 2 and 3. This lamina 2 and 3, they are together called as substantia gelatinosa. From there it goes to the most common and important relay station in the body, that is thalamus, and finally it will go to the somatosensory cortex for perception of pain. This is thing about fast pain, but the slow pain, it is different. Here most of the fibers, they go to a different region. Only few fibers go to the thalamus and somatosensory cortex. Only around 10 to 20% goes to the thalamus and then to the somatosensory cortex. So here, rather than the perception of pain, it is going to other areas to activate the mechanisms and keep us awake and arousal state and feel the emotional aspect. So it is going to 3 places. One is reticular activating system, which keeps the brain awake. Then tectum of mesencephalon, and it goes to one more place called as periaqueductal gray matter. So it also goes to a place called as periaqueductal gray matter. This periaqueductal gray matter or PAG we will study again in modulation of pain also. So this is how the neospinothalamic tract and the paleospinothalamic tract goes in. Now the central nervous system has to process the pain and different aspects of the brain. It is done with the help of two systems. One is called as the medial pain system, another one is called as the lateral pain system. This lateral pain system, first we will discuss this. This lateral pain system is very essential for sensing the pain as well as discriminating the pain. So it is helpful for perception of pain. So it helps to perceive the pain as well as it helps to determine the quality of pain, like what is the type of pain, whether it is crushing pain or it is throbbing kind of pain or it is colicky kind of pain. All this characteristic discrimination is done with the help of lateral system. Discrimination of pain. The most essential organ which is involved in perception of pain is a thalamus, whereas for the discrimination it is the somatosensory cortex. This thalamus in lower animals, the somatosensory cortex is not developed at all. They have the thalamus which can perceive the pain. Even in lower animals they perceive the pain. They might not be able to discriminate the characteristics of pain like a developed brain in humans, but still their thalamus is very well developed so that they can perceive the pain sensation and help them to move away from the predators. Coming to the medial system of brain, it is involved in affection and motivational aspect of the brain. So it is basically involved in motivational aspect and emotional aspect of pain. So it is involved in motivational and emotional aspect of the brain. It goes specifically to three places. One is the insula or the insular cortex, and second one is medial thalamic nuclei and anterior cingulate gyrus. Anterior cingulate cortex. So these are the three regions which are involved in medial processing of the pain system, and the lateral system is the one which is the major system which is involved in perception of pain and discrimination of pain. So coming to the take home points for today, the nociceptors are nothing but free nerve endings, and the classification of pain goes like fast pain and slow pain. Fast pain are carried through A delta fibers and the neurotransmitter is glutamate, whereas slow pain are carried through C fibers and the neurotransmitter is substance P. Then spinothalamic tract is the most predominant tract for the carrying the pain, and they are basically divided into neospinothalamic tract and paleospinothalamic tract. And medial processing of the brain is involved in motivational aspect of the pain, whereas the lateral processing or the lateral cortex of the brain are involved in sensory and discriminatory aspect of the pain. Then coming to the thalamus, it is the organ which is involved in perception of pain, whereas the somatosensory cortex, it is involved in discrimination of pain. I hope it's clear. If you have enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you. In the next video, we will be discussing about the modulation of pain system, grade control theory and various other mechanisms of how pain is modulated. Thank you. Keep supporting the channel.